Mel Park, currently known as Technical Park, was inspired by the Soriani and Moser Tornado adventure to make the Vortex. This ride was made in two versions, one of each version was made. The most notable difference between the two versions is that one has inside-facing seats and the other one has outside-facing seats.
The Vortex fits on 3 trailers, one for the main structure of the ride, one for the gondolas, and one for the scenery. It took about 1.5 days to set up and 9 hours to take down. The main structure can rotate at a maximum speed of 7 revolutions per minute, the arms at 3.7 revolutions per minute, and the gondolas at 20 revolutions per minute. The whole structure lifts up to 30 degrees to make the ride even more impressive. It fits 32 riders per cycle in 2 separate gondolas.
The first and only Vortex made with inside-facing seats was made by Mel Park and sold by FABBRI. It was named after the model of the ride, Vortex, and it made its debut on the French fair circuit in 1997 under ownership of BATANG. In 2003, the Vortex was sold to another French showman named Courchinou. He also took it outside of France to multiple fairs in Belgium in 2008 and 2012, working together with Belgian showmen Vlasselaerts and Heiplon. The very last fair that Vortex did in Europe was the September Fair in Hasselt in 2012.
In March of 2013, controversial American showman John Macaroni purchased the Vortex. A little fun fact is that they actually censored the backdrop when it came to the US. It originally featured topless women. When it came to the US, they painted some bikinis on them to make it more acceptable for the US. They actually did a pretty good job, and it looks pretty much like the original. Honestly, you really couldn't tell it was painted over. Vortex made its American premiere at the Miami-Dade Youth Fair. After this fair, Vortex visited some other fairs in the US in Indiana, Ohio, Tennessee, Alabama, and North Carolina. One at the North Carolina State Fair on the 24th of October 2013, disaster struck. The ride started moving while passengers were still getting off the ride. This injured 4 passengers and 1 worker. Some of them were actually very seriously injured and one was in a coma for multiple weeks. The cause was determined to be jumpers added illegally by the ride's new owner, John Macaroni, that bypassed the safety system that would normally not allow the ride to move with the seats unlocked. More about this in a future What Really Happened, as there's a lot to unpack here. Less than 3 years after the incident, Vortex made a comeback. It was renamed to XXL and was under ownership of the Murphy Brothers Midway. However, this comeback did not last long. XXL did at least 3 fairs, 2 of them being in North Dakota in July 2016. By December 2016, it was already back up for sale, stating it was located in Texas. Later, another sale advertisement went up saying it was located in Mexico. Since then, nothing is known about this Vortex, and we sadly do not know its current state or location.
The second Vortex with outside-facing seats made its debut in 1999 at the Frühlingsfest in Nuremberg, Germany, with showman Klunde. Klunde ended up traveling with the Vortex in Germany for 11 years. It was put in storage after the 2010 season. In 2013, the Vortex made a comeback on the Dutch fairs with showman Van der Wiel. This was not the first time that Vortex did a Dutch fair, since Klunde already visited some Dutch fairs like Weert in the early 2000s. Vortex's first fair under the new ownership was the Paaskermis in Daxten in late March 2013. Sadly, it already did its last fair under this owner in October 2013 at the Najaarskermis in Nijmegen. It was later sold to a British showman Noble, who took it to the Global Village in Dubai in late 2014. It stayed there until early 2016. It was then sold to Baghdad Island in Iraq. It operated there until around October last year. It was then removed from the park and is currently stored in Erbil, Iraq, and up for sale.
That sadly means none of the 2 Vortexes are left operating. The chances of seeing both of them back are not very high, but we can always hope for the best. Technical Park still has the Vortex on their site, and they have it on a brochure for MyAppa this past year, so one still could be produced any day now. That about concludes everything that we have on these Vortexes. If you did get to ride one of them, please share your experience in the comments below, or if you know anything about where these rides ended up, we would be happy to find out more. I did have a chance to ride it at the Ohio State Fair in 2013, but knowing what I know now about John Macaroni's ownership of the ride, I'm glad I didn't. but I wish that the ride was still traveling in the US, as it was one of the more unique attractions on the US fair circuit.
And I have also seen the same Vortex when it came to Belgium in a town near me in 2012, but I sadly was too young to ride. I do remember it being a really beautiful ride though, and even seeing footage of it now, it's just so satisfying to see the Vortex moving. The decorations are just so beautiful, the hand-painted backdrop, the beautiful lights. It's amazing. It's a shame I had to miss out on it, and I really wish we could see it back one day.
Yeah, I think it's just crazy that both of us saw the ride within 2 years of each other. It definitely was a very mesmerizing ride to look at, and I'm sure it was very enjoyable. It's definitely very sad that this 2013 accident seems to have sealed its fate, especially since the ride did nothing wrong. The full accident report is out there. It'll probably be linked in the description. It's a fantastic read, but basically the ride itself was perfectly fine. It was the ownership and operation under John Macaroni that actually caused the accident itself. So it's very unfortunate that it is gone now. But again, that is about everything we have. If you did get to ride it or know where any of these rides are at, please let us know. As always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week. Goodbye.